Hello, everyone. I think most people have joined now, so I think we'll get started. Hello, and welcome to our investor event, sending live from Malmö. This event is for you people that are interested to help growth companies in their journey. I am Josephine Wahlqvist, and I'm equity manager at FinReg Solution and project leader of our crowdfunding. With me today, I have Louise Gatz, who is the CEO and founder of WeBrick, a disruptive fintech company within the home sales that we will hear more about later on. This presentation will be in English since we have an audience from both Sweden and Denmark. So I will go through what we go through this hour. First of all, I will do a short introduction of Spotlight Group and FinReg Solutions. Then I will talk a little bit about crowdfunding and why you should invest in a crowdfunding case. After this, we will hear Louise and Martin talk a bit more about WeBrick and why you should invest in their company. Please send some questions during the presentation. You can do this in the chat, and we will go through the questions after Louise's presentation. If there's any questions that we don't have a time to go through today, we will send them in an email to all of you afterwards. And then we finish off with a conclusion and the investment offer and how to invest. So, FinReg Solution is a part of Spotlight Group. Spotlight Group was founded in 1997, and then it started as a stock market called Aktietorget and sedermera Fondkommission. They then had and still have the ambition to make it easier for growth companies to grow and to get easier access to the capital market. They also saw that they could do it in a trustworthy, compliant and transparent way, since then it wasn't that common that investors invested in growth companies. So they wanted to gain their trust to be able to do that. Since then, we have grown and Aktietorget have become Spotlight Stock Market and therefore the name Spotlight Group. And now we're a complete solution for our customers within the group. We can help with marketing, legal advisors, financial advisors. We can also help with sustainability data and analysis. We also have, as I said before, our own stock market, and we have an issuer agent, Nordic Issuing, as well. We also have a fund that actually invests in early stage growth companies. They're actually taking in investors at the moment. So if this also could be interesting for you, I suggest you to go into their website, www.gainbridge.se. So FinReg Solutions became a part of Spotlight Group last year, but we've been up and running since 2014. Our main focus is on having digital services within fintech and the regtech area for our customers. Our main services is MC-log, a logbook for insider information for listed companies and for advisors working with listed companies. We also have A-aktiebok, which is a digital shareholder register for companies to keep track of the shareholders and communicate with them with important information. Today we have 40,000 users at A-aktiebok that are all investors in an unlisted company. So about 10 months ago, we started thinking, how should we connect these investors with the unlisted companies looking for capital? And we came up with crowdfunding would be a great way. We also saw a gap in the market where we, as the same way as our as Spotlight Group did, to do it in a professional and transparent way. Just for you to get an idea how we think when we look at the company that we will do a crowdfunding with, I will go through some of the criteria that is crucial for us to do this. First of all, the company needs to be a public company. Since a private company is not allowed to give an investment offer to more than 200 people, we help the companies to become public since we go out to the big crowd. They also need to have a realistic plan for investors to have an exit plan within 2 years, usually through an IPO, but it could also be another exit plan. To do this analysis, we take the whole knowledge from Spotlight Group to look at the company and see that, yes, this is a company that we see can actually do an IPO within 2 years. They also need to be fit and proper. And by that, we do due diligence through our legal advisors on the company and the board behind to see that they have everything in order. And of course, they need to have a reasonable valuation compared to the market right now and how far they have come with the company. So crowdfunding. Crowdfunding has become a more attractive way of seeking funding. It's completely digital, so it's easy for companies and investors to meet, and you can also reach a lot of potential investors. This is a great way to get funding, but also to brand the company. Because if you have a lot of small investors out there, they will talk well about the company and be an ambassador for it. It's also good with a lot of small investors, since they're usually not as active owners as maybe an angel investor would be, that usually wants to sit in the board and be a part of what you do in the company. So why should you invest in crowdfunding? I'd say there's 2 good reasons to do it. It's both to do good for your society and the potential to do something good for your economy. If we start with the society part, you have the potential to support a company that will build our future. The companies may have found a disruptive way to do a service, like Webrick, that we will hear more about today, or find new effective revenue streams or effective ways of doing something. And that will change the way we live our life today. And it will bring our society forward. These companies will also contribute with a lot of work opportunities in the future if they reach their potential. And if we come to the economy part of it, you have the potential to go in a very early stage in a company, which is also shown in the valuation. It's very low compared to the market potential. And hopefully you decide to invest in a crowdfunding that's done by A-Aktiebok, and then hopefully you will be able to see that potential within 2 years. That was all about me. Now I will give the word to Louise. Webrick is selected from many customers that we meet every day that wants to do a crowdfunding with us. But we see that Webrick is the right for the market right now and has a good potential in their business plan. So Louise, the floor is yours.
Okay, yes, ready? Welcome everyone. My name is Louise and I'm the founder and CEO of Webrick. Thank you for being here today. I hope this will be your next case that you will invest in. We would really like to attract a lot of different investors in this company, and I'll go into that more during this presentation, as Webrick is a great investor case right now for this segment that we are going for, of a large range of different investors. So as I am the founder, I have the founder story for you. I worked in Scandinavia's largest bank, Nordea, where I came up with this idea. There, I looked into the real estate market and saw that this could be done more effective. I saw that there were a problem here because it was too expensive, it was too complex, and it was too manual driven. So I looked into how could this be done differently. What I also saw was that these marketplaces in the market in all over Europe, as Boligsiden in Denmark and Hemnet here in Sweden, is one of the most visited sites in Europe. They range at the top 10 level of the most attractive sites to visit. So what we started with in WeBreak was to build this site with all listed homes in Denmark, to attract this mass of visitors, because when they're going into our website, then they can also convert. So that was where I got this idea, and that's where I've moved forward since then. WeBreak is 2.5 years old today, and I have a broad range of investors, and I have up until now raised 16 million Danish kroner. So I'm not alone, of course. I have a great team behind me. This is the team of people that are behind me, and more than that, I have a lot of organizations as FinReg Solutions right now are working for us. We are also working with the different embassies, looking into different markets and so on. We are participating in accelerator programs to improve our business model. But right now, I would like to go into who are the board behind a tech company like this company. So in the board today, we have I'm sitting in the board. Then we have Niels Mortensen, who is the former COO of Nets company in Denmark. Then we have Troels Bülow Olsen, who is a co-founder and who has been a CEO in Total Credit in Denmark, one of the largest financial institutions in Denmark. And then we have Martin Andersen, who is working for the company as well as with the regulatory. All members of the board in this company works 1 day a week on the company. That is the agreement that we have, and it's because they have a large network and competences that the company need. Also behind me, I have a strong marketing team and a tech team. So the marketing team is working on the different channels that we are present at right now: Instagram, Facebook, where we are converting our customers, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. And the tech team is working with all the data that are on the platform that you cannot see when you go into their website. So they are working with a very complex platform. A large part of our company's DNA is our investors. Our investors are the ones who drive the company. And going through a COVID crisis with this company and now a war in Europe, we have taught this company to navigate in crisis when there are crises in the capital markets. And what we have seen now is that it's a strength to have a range of different investors who can go in with their knowledge and financially at different times when the market is unsure. So these are people who want this company to move forward. And one of the investors in this company and one of the lead investors had a revenue on 2.3 billion in his company. And he has been teaching us in the company how to navigate in this crisis, because his company has gone through many different crises over the last 30 years. Another profile in our investors is our investor Robin Daniels, and he has been at the top level in companies like LinkedIn, Salesforce, Box, WeWork, and latest Matterports. He's participated in 2.5 IPOs from the States and are now moved back to Denmark, and that's why I brought him into his attention to our company. The next in the range and one of our largest investors is Karina Bergstrøm Larsen. She sold her company for 700 million kroner, and she's a large support of the development of this company. And then last, I would like to put attention to Eva Bernicke, the former CEO of KMD in Denmark, and now working in Paris with a satellite company. These are some of the profiles that are part of this company and that helps this company to move forward. And these are also the types of investors that we are looking for. We are looking for people who can help us move forward and guide us sometimes, or come with some of their point of views that they are having. I would also like to tell all of you that we have succeeded in that 50% of our investors are females. So we're looking into creating a company that has strong focus on diversity, not only in the team, but also in the board as investors. So because we are fintech that are disrupting this market and has a huge potential, we are often in different newspapers in Denmark. And last, we were in Børsen, the largest financial magazine in Denmark. And what you can also see here, if you look very closely into the picture, is that we have had the opportunity in Munich to present for the Her Royal Majesty, the Queen. So this is some of the fun facts about the company. Before we started, we looked into the market and we looked into how does the competitors look like. And we looked into the market here in Sweden and had analysis done by the embassy in Sweden, the Danish embassy. So we have mapped all our competition here in the Scandinavian market and externally. And when we are looking into this page, is that we are disrupting the market because we're doing something completely different. And how can we do that? We are not a real estate agent. We are a company that has replaced the real estate agent with software and data. That means that we are under another law. And one of your questions will probably be, is that even allowed here in Sweden? And yes, it is, because we are operating in a single market within the European Union. So what's allowed in Denmark will also be allowed in Sweden. So where do we earn the money would probably be your question. And what we are tapping into is this platform economy. So the platform economy is to attract a lot of people into your platform. So there is the houses. The houses is what attracts people. And when they're in our website with all their personal data, they are signing up with a profile and so on. And then we're getting consumer data. When we add the consumer data with the home data that we have on our platform, that is below the surface of the platform, we have a qualified lead that we can send to the bank and the insurance companies, etc., because that is what they will need at some point when selling and buying a home. So this is a complete customer journey that we have made on our platform. We are working with customer journeys where we want to convert these consumers at the right moment. And below that, we have built it on something called behavioral design. So within software, when you create these customer journeys, we have decided that we will build it on behavioral design, which is a cognitive psychology. So we are not looking at people as they are rational people. We are looking at people to see what kind of emotions do they have right now? What kind of considerations do they have right now? And that is where the behavioral design comes into our customer journey. And that is a very unique way to work with your consumers. And that's why we know exactly how to convert these customers on our platform. So when working within this area and working with another law than the real estate agent, you will probably see some new real estate agents pop up here in Sweden. And there are two types of brokers today. So there are the traditional real estate agent, and then there are the discount broker. They get a lower fee, but they will also give a lower service. But it's still below the same law. So they are still operating with a lot of manual processes because that is what the law wants them to do. So they cannot do what we are doing because we can operate with very digital processes, and that's more inexpensive way in the long run to operate your business. And that's why these tech companies can raise so much in value fast. And one of the unique selling points on our platform is that instead of going out as a real estate agent have to do and visit the house, we can do it digitally. So we have a complete set of data with historic, that is historic, and then we can cross that, and then we can come up with the right price for your home. But here we looked into another feeling, price psychology. And so when we are coming up with the right price for you, you are saying, but I know my home best. And that's a feeling that you have. So you're setting your own price, but we are guiding you with our price tool on our website. Another unique selling point is that we can have an auction, and we can have a digital auctions. So you see it on other businesses that they have digital auctions. We can also do that, and that is not something that the real estate agent can do. So we can have different people bidding transparently on your home, and then you can see what the others are bidding and say, okay, now I want to put a better offer, and now I will leave this auction. And in that auction, we also have combined it with our bank product because we have the fastest mortgage on the market. So we can see if you are approved by the bank to buy this home. And of course, a person who is approved by the bank is a more attractive person to sell the home for. We are working within a range of different marketing channels, and that is also why we are raising money now. We are raising money to go out through these marketing channels and tell Denmark and Sweden that we exist. And we have different channels: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. In January, we had 69,000 people visiting our website. As we were testing a campaign and testing a way to go into the market. And that is what we would like to do much more of. I have in this spring had a lot of interns in the company who had helped us develop a very effective campaign that is ready to be rolled out. So yeah, now I'll give the words to Martin, who will go into some of the numbers in the company. So here he is.
Hi everyone, and thank you for inviting me here to the Spotlight Group and FinReg Solutions. It's a pleasure. And the figures that I'm going to introduce to you is based on actual findings. We've been testing and demonstrating for more than almost 2 years now, and every time we've done our demonstration, it has become quite evident to us that we're doing things right. So when we do things right in that respect, when we actually make a spend on digital commercials, of course, adapted to consumer groups, etc. We've been actually very successfully in our outreach. And this is where the figures come up. And we know that we have actually done demonstrations. So we know that when we actually do spend money, we have had figures here saying that if we spend, for instance, the 480 Danish kroners, we will actually generate a revenue approximately 4,000 kroners. So that's almost a tenfold, which is quite good. That's on the when it's for the selling part, but we also provide services for the buyers. And the buyers, when we are spending about approximately 400 kroners, we will actually generate a revenue of 8,400 kroners. So that's a 20-fold, which is quite good too. What matters is that no matter if it's the seller or the buyer, we have a one-stop shop for all the services needed to sell and buy your home. Yes. And going into the figures, we made some calculations and extrapolations, and this is where we can say, seen from the turnover perspective, we definitely estimate to have a deficit the current 2 years here, where we are entering the market. And those deficits are, of course, going to be based on that we will have a lot of spend on promoting ourselves, getting people, making people aware of our existence, etc. And the turnover in that respect is, you may think this is quite small, but it's actually, compared to what we are doing, then it's based on a very few referral leads, because this market is full of money, and this is where the investments actually can generate a very big turnover. And this is why it's so interesting to embark on a new market like this. We've seen that by only generating 225 referral leads and 600 on marketing package and photo package, and where we have 677 referral leads to banks, we can generate a revenue or turnover of approximately 4.8 million Danish kroner. Next year, that will grow much higher naturally when we have become more established in the market, when people are getting aware of what we're doing. But again, we have an estimate that we will generate a turnover of 51 million Danish kroner, and that will be even double in 2024, and so forth. Those calculations are based on that we have had, we made agreements with service suppliers who are paying us every time we generate a lead to those. The cost naturally is excessive compared to the turnover, because we have to spend a lot on the marketing. This is why you see that we have a spend on including growing the staff, but not least doing the marketing, which is the biggest chunk of this budget. We will have 18.5 million spent on this, which will eventually grow in 2023 following an IPO. Expected that, then it will grow to 55 million. And this year we have an expectation to have a deficit of 13.8 million. Next year following that, for 4.2 million deficit. And then we'll have a break even with a surplus in 2024 already. And then it goes deep from there. It's calculated. We have a close cooperation with KPMG when we undertake measures and estimates as well. Yes. Thank you so much for having the chance to introduce those. I will leave the finalization of this to Louise when she's coming in. But the only thing I will end up saying is that this is an investment case which has a huge potential. And the reason why I enter this is that I can see not only the potential, but there's a space for high and low investors. There's a space for anyone who wants to join us and disrupt this market. Thank you so much.
Yes, so now we are ready for questions. Please write in the chats.
Yeah. We also have, since we haven't got any in the chat yet, I have some questions that I've gotten from investors so far. Louisa, so one of your milestone is to launch this extensive marketing campaign. You've explained a little bit about it, but can you explain why you want to do this marketing campaign and why do you want to get the bigger market share?
Yeah. So up until now, we've been working on this platform. And because we are disrupting the market, we have had a lot of work on the platform. So that has been the main focus of the business. We have had test campaigns since 2020, but we want to go into the market with a budget. So it's not enough to just be on Facebook. We need to go out with this budget and reach more potential consumers.
Also, because you're talking about entering new markets, what will be your challenges when as you have here, entering Sweden, for example?
Yeah, in Sweden, there's only one platform like Hemnet, and it's dominating the market. So that would definitely be a challenge. And one of the questions that we got from the Danish investors is why do that? We already have Boligsiden and Boliga, and here you have Hemnet and Bolig. So that was one of the questions. But even though, because the mass, it's there are so many people who is interested in this area, we also get a lot of visitors into our website, even though there is an existing marketplace in Denmark. And one of the things that I think that you should ask yourself about is it really true that there's only one who can do this in Sweden? And should Hemnet have the position in the market as they have today? And so should the real estate agent have the position in the market today? So that is where we are reaching out to investors who are change makers and not caretakers. And we're reaching out to these investors that want to change the world, disrupt the world, make it better, use these digital customer journeys to make it more human to be in the market and cheaper for the consumer in the end.
Good answer. So how have you thought about partnerships when you go into another market? Today you have Danish partners.
Yeah. So we have already started our collaboration with the Danish embassy here in Sweden. I've already talked to different data suppliers here in Sweden as well about the data available here in Sweden. So it will be possible for us to make a complete rollout of the business model that we have in Denmark and make it completely free for the Swedish people to sell and buy their home on our platform. Then, of course, we need these new partnerships, which is our revenue streams. And there we are collaborating at this point with the Danish embassy, who will set up the meetings. And sometimes when you go abroad, it's actually easier to get these partnerships. And it will not be the first time we will have a bank partnership, an insurance partnership. So it will also be easier for us to benchmark that we have done this already in Denmark, and now we are extending the platform and our partnerships to Sweden.
All right. Let's see. No questions yet. I think I have one more question. You'll be talking about maybe doing an IPO here in Sweden. Can you tell us a bit more about that and what will gain value to WeBrick?
Yeah. We have from a very early stage been looking into this very interesting Swedish market. We look at us as a European company, and very strongly as a Scandinavian company. We feel that in this company that we are a neighbor country, and when looking into the market and doing this market analysis that we have done, it's a very similar process. So it's very easy for our business model to scale to Sweden. And because we here in Scandinavia is unique in Europe, because we work with open data, and it gives so many possibilities for the consumers in Scandinavia, because they can do so many things digitally, and we saw that under the COVID crisis. And we here in Scandinavia trust the digital customer journeys, and we have done it. We do it in so many other ways during the day in the society here in Scandinavia. So we have always looked to Sweden, and what we also like about Sweden is, of course, the data and software and so on. And we see us as very similar to you as consumers. But what we also looked into at a very early stage in this company was the range of investor environment that you have here in Sweden. We don't have that in Denmark. So we don't have access to the same amount of capital. So that people who are completely normal as I am can invest in growth company is not normal in Denmark. Here in Denmark, we have angel investors that invest in growth company. Here, normal people can go in and say, that's actually a great case. I would like to invest in that and hope that it grows. And then I will at some point get something out of it as well economically. So that doesn't exist in Denmark. So that's what we also looked into. And then we've also looked into here in Sweden that you can create unicorns. You can create big tech companies. And of course, it goes hand in hand with the data, the software, the consumers, and the investor environment. And on top of that, at the end of this, you can create giant tech companies here in Sweden. And that is why we also have looked into the Swedish market.
Interesting. It seems like you're very clear in your presentation, Louise. We haven't got any more questions, and I think that's the questions I've got from most investors. Let's see if I can get this. So I thought I should tell you a bit more about the investment offer. You're raising today 6 million Danish kroner, and 1.1 of those is already subscribed from some really interesting investors. So you better hurry up before it's all taken. Price per share, 25.53 Danish kroners. And the minimum subscription is 92 shares to be a part of it. After this event, we will send an email with the subscription form, so you can just sign that with your bank ID or NEM ID to be able to participate. Let's see, I see someone is writing a question here. I keep that until we get that. The valuation of Finbridge is 22 million Danish kroner at the moment. So that was all for today. Thank you, Louise, for a really interesting presentation. And thank you to all of you that has been with us today and has been a part of this. And I hope you find Finbridge as an interesting investing case. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to give a call to either me or Louise, and we'll be happy to answer your question. The official crowdfunding will hopefully go live in June. So it's until then that you have a possibility to go in before that. So once again, thank you so much for attending, and I wish you a great week.